my friends that are tuning into this. This is kind of an emergency broadcast, I guess, from me to light workers out there. And I want to start with some simple facts. Throughout history, the powers that be have used many things to stay in power. One of the things that they've used is the law of affinity, more commonly known today as the law of attraction, and often sidekicked over into some new age fanaticism that has no merit or is somehow on the dark side. Okay, so I want to explain what's been going on throughout history with this. You see, by the law of affinity is a law like gravity. It's working whether you want it to or not, whether you think about it or not, it's working. So is the law of affinity. However, the law of affinity has never been explained to you on how to use it. Do you know why? Simply because the powers that are in control of all the money, creating all the wars, and now have been implicated in this horrible Pizzagate scandal, didn't want you to know it. They didn't want you to know how to create like they know how to create. Now, Pizzagate has been linked to Luciferian and satanic rituals, and a lot of people may mistakenly believe that somehow that these horrible rituals involving pedophilia and torture of young babies and ingesting human body parts that actually gave them power, or praying to Satan or Lucifer somehow gave these people power. Oh no, none of that gave them power, folks. What they are using is the law of affinity. And the way that works is like attracts like a magnet. This is quantum physics. Don't debate me on it. Go look it up. Observation principle, they've recently proved that what we look at, we can actually change. We can change matter just by us focusing on it and intending something. This is new quantum physics, okay? This is also what these Luciferians are using to stay in power. It's not the chicken blood or praying to Moloch. That's not what's doing it. They have joined together into a secret group that all intends the same thing together. And when somebody new comes into the group, they get them joining in on their manifestation. Now, let me break it down in another way so maybe I can explain this to you. I write books on this. I'm a best-selling author on the law of attraction. I started dreaming about math and connected the code in the Mayan calendar, ended up down there with tons of scientists and me, which was like a joke. I'm a cheerleader. I dream stuff. How did I end up here? Well, I may have ended up there to write the first book on frequency, so I could end up here to help finally be part of the real shift on this planet. Because in the whole 2012 calendar and ending of that, what it really was at the top of this pyramid that 2012 represented, the end of the calendar, there was a consciousness that was going to be opened. And it had to do with ethics. And it was about, at one point, everybody would be connected, and therefore the truth would come out. That the lies would no longer be able to hide because we could all see it. Folks, this is Pizzagate. It has spilled out, and it touches up to the tops of all the world governments. There's already been arrests made all the way up to the darn Pope in the Catholic Church. I think they paid out billions of dollars to cover up pedophile cases. So it's not a fringe thing like we thought. It's a huge involved group, maybe having power for way longer than we can ever imagine. You know what, though? None of it matters, folks. Literally none of it matters. And when I say that, remember, according to Einstein, we can study all the aspects of quarks and leptons and the smallest bits of matter. But nobody has really defined what the 99.99% of everything in the universe is, the space, which I might add means that you also, and I also, and everything in our reality is 99% space. Einstein said, perhaps the space was God. And I really do believe that's the case, folks. So in that case, let's look at this. Matter is just a small part of reality that appears in the third dimension, whereas mostly on a quantum physics level, we're mostly space. Okay, they are focusing matter with the law of affinity to create something. Here's the good news. We can too. And in fact, this is where the shift truly comes. This is where the shift truly comes. I'm going to take a breath here and come back. Okay, so how do you actually use your own power for goodness and to combat this evil that we're seeing? Well, first of all, even though you take in the information and you should be aware, we should know what's going on. What we don't want to fall into the trap of, and this is the psyop, right, is to become evil or dark ourselves. In other words, to spend a lot of time hating the people we suspect of being the perpetrators. Spending time being angry at them or disgusted at them, because then we're wallowing in a lower frequency, and that's not going to get us what we want. The way to use the power correctly, and just remember, this is a lot like a spell, okay? And when you hear or you study what they're doing in their satanic groups to create things, they also involve spells. But what are spells? They're just words, right? And we're seeing this with Pizzagate, fake news. It's all 1984. The Patriot Act was anything but patriotic. Citizens United, which is anything about citizens. It's all about protecting corporations. It's doublespeak. It's a spell. So what they are doing together, these Luciferian groups that actually create the things that the power, the winning elections, is they focus together and they over and over say a mantra together about what they want, over and over, like a spell. The devil has no power. Slicing up chickens or people to Moloch, no power. The only power is the group prayer, if you will, intention, spell, verbal, words, creating, matter, okay? That's what they're using. So good news, we can use this, and we have the power of light, love, and God on our side. We are the force, so we just need to join together and know how to do this. So this is how you do it. I'm going to take a break a second because it keeps cutting out as it does when I go into high frequency stuff. Okay, guys, so this is how good people use the law of attraction and this quantum physics rule of attraction, and that is in a very similar way, only for the good. We focus on what we want, the good things that we want. You don't want to get caught in the psyop of being a hater on the perpetrators or suspected perpetrators, even though goodness knows they deserve it. They will get theirs. Believe me, they will get theirs. They will answer. There will be justice. But we're not the ones to merit that out. We are the ones that are supposed to now understand what's going on, understand how they got in power and stayed there by using this law of quantum physics that they've kept from you, I might add. They've hidden it from you, and then they've mocked you if you tried to talk about it by calling you New Age. But again, as I explained, it's just simple quantum physics that they don't want you to know about. So you've never been taught about it, or taught to use it, or taught how. And so that's what I'm going to talk about right now. This is how we defeat the bad guys. This is how the good guys win. We all start praying together, because you can call it a spell, or you can call it a prayer, or you can call it an intention. But when you start speaking over and over about something, it creates a feeling in you that creates a vibration that creates a counter magnetic vibration to come back into your reality. I know that sounds kind of out there, but let's move on and go to the easy part. All you have to do to create the greatest resistance and to truly fight this evil anywhere you see it, but definitely where we're seeing it in this Pizzagate cover-up, all of us need to enact our hearts to pray for the children in this way. I am so happy that everyone was caught in this Pizzagate scandal. I am so happy that the children are protected and safe. I am so happy that we are stopping future human trafficking all around the world. I am so happy that evil has been ferreted out of our government and perhaps our world. Saying these kind of positive, loving statements has a wonderful, magical way of filling your heart and your feelings, and it creates just as much as their darkness creates, your goodness creates. So anytime you can, send a prayer out to the children and thank God that for making it come to light that they can be saved, and just keep saying however you want to say it to yourself, that stay positive, that we won, that stay focused on the fact that we saved the kids, that we've changed things, and be thankful and have love in your heart. And I know this sounds very cliche, and again, that's part of the psyop that they had on you. It's like love's the power. Love is the power. That's the power. And it's much greater than evil, I assure you. So don't let them take you away from your love, and focus on your love, and we're gonna win. So just keep doing the prayers, and remember, we don't know how this is all going to get solved, but our continued prayers and intention for it to be solved, for the children to be safe, for human trafficking to stop around the world, for there to be peace on the world, these things will manifest if we keep intending them and praying about them together. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing about how this law of quantum physics and the observation principle works, because when the things do come in that were created, they seem miraculous. In this case, they will be, and it will be in a non-violent way, and it will come in a way we never expected, but it is coming. Justice for these children and Pizzagate is coming, and I urge you to believe in the power of love and prayer, and to keep using that power every day for the good. Thank you so much for listening.